Hello there. This is my rig for the Blackmagic Pocket Cinema Cam 4K as it stands now. I want to tell you why I built it, how I built it, go into the details of the specific parts, and also tell you how I use it. As you know, the BMPCC 4K doesn't have in-body stabilization, which makes absolute sense for a cinema cam. Of course, you can use a gimbal or Steadicam, but it's not always the right thing to do, and there are reasons to go with a rig like that. Currently, the rig is in tripod mode. If I want to take it on my shoulder, I just have to change one thing. I slide back the camera base plate to the back to have as much weight as possible in the bag so it's easy to carry. Then I take it away from the tripod. And here we go. Very comfortable. And I want to take it back into tripod mode. Just put it back. Now the third option is to quickly take away the camera for having it handheld. Take off the HDMI cable, slide out the camera, and take away the dummy battery. And you're ready to go. Well, more or less, you have to put in the battery. I will change that in the future, but I want to talk about that a little later. So why did I build this rig this way? The main reason is flexibility, and that means distribution of weight for different situations and being able to disassemble everything quickly and put it to different modes. I think it makes sense if I deconstruct the rig now so that I can show you what the specific parts are. The camera here is in a Tilta cage. I made a review about that. You can find the link in the description and perhaps here as well. Let's see. I have put the SSD, the Samsung T5, and Video Micro from Rode. I'm a bit of an audio guy, so if I really want to have good quality audio, I don't go with that. I don't go with that. I have a dedicated boom mic or a lav mic like I have now. Next thing is the battery solution. What I have here is a V-mount battery plate, and this has all the connections. I can power the camera to the dummy battery. I'm going to change that in the future, and the monitor, and could also power a video light or audio recorder with it, and it works quite well. Now usually a V-mount battery would sit here. I have chosen to go a slightly different path by using an adapter for the Sony NPF batteries. The reason is I already have a lot of them. I already have chargers, and chargers for V-mount batteries are really expensive, and it works really, really well. Next thing is the monitor. It's a 7-inch monitor, which is slightly too big for a rig like that, but it works pretty well. And honestly, for an old man like me, having something big, perhaps it's not a bad idea. This monitor here sits on a rod with screw holes in it. I can simply take it off like that. Then we have, well, the sort of matte box. Actually, that is the cheapest thing you can get out of pure plastic. There's a little bit of metal here. Why did I do that? Now, the first thing is I have a couple of lenses that are really prone to lens flares. And so it's good to have an additional sunshade, especially outside. The second reason is, and let's be honest, that's the biggest reason, mostly indoors. We want to impress customers. It's not that they are stupid. It's more sort of psychological thing. If they see something that looks a bit more professional, they might behave a little bit more professional as well, or yeah, bring their A game, let's say it like that. Then here in front we have the handles. It's a very solid thing. It's from cam tree. It's called cam tree hunt. It has airy rosettes, so it's easy to adjust the angles, which makes sense because I sometimes want to use it handheld as well. And then, of course, there's this sliding base plate. Let me take that out. So, as I said, this is an airy dovetail base plate. And I chose that specifically because I wanted to have the sliding option to change the center of gravity for the different modes. I got this from a Chinese seller, and actually it came broken. You see, here should be a screw head, and it came broken. And the other one broke soon after. So not a very good quality on that part. To be fair, the seller was very generous. After exchanging some friendly emails, he decided to give me a full refund and let me keep that unit. So not bad. On top of this slider unit, I have the unit to take my Manfrotto plates that I use all over the place. And finally, the core unit. So what we have here is the dovetail base plate, and below we have another Manfrotto plate to put it safely and quickly on the tripod, the shoulder pad for comfortable positioning on your shoulder, the battery plate, and another pair of rods here to fix the handles to it. Now you see that the shoulder pad is not centered in the middle of the base plate. Also, you know, the rods are not perfectly centered. This is all about balance. It's about where the center of gravity is. Now this additional weight gives me a lot of stability, and the camera doesn't have this micro jitter or anything like that. Very comfortable. And I think even if I'm talking, the picture is relatively stable here, right? Nice. And just to show you how easy it is to set it up, let me rebuild it quickly. Now, what isn't perfect? What do I want to improve? As I told you before, one thing is the dummy battery. It is so much more convenient to have a cable right to the side of the camera and have a battery in there so that I can easily switch from tripod or shoulder mode to pure handheld mode with the camera only. I know that Blackmagic doesn't recommend that, but everybody does, so I will as well. Now the cables are difficult to get actually, so I have ordered it, but it takes a couple of weeks until it arrives. Second is I will probably change the monitor to a smaller and lightweight model to have even less weight on my hands while carrying it. The third thing is this thing that looks a little bit like a matte box but isn't. It's perfect if you don't really need a matte box because it's very lightweight, but in the end having the ability to slide in ND filters and things like that is something I will consider. And then finally, I might want to have longer bones here so that my hands are a little lower when I carry it on my shoulder. Might be. You can go with fully set up and ready to go shoulder rig. If you want to have the same quality and functionality, you're going to pay much more than I have. And also I like the process of building everything. It's a bit, it's a boy's game.